Hey, I know I've got some high notes, but I'm really curious about yours.
All right. So, I'm excited to share the high notes. I've been waiting for this one for a minute.
I haven't seen you in a few.
So I'm wearing my Fear the Ear shirt today.
And what's your connection to Concordia College?
Oh, such a great question. No connection.
None?
No. My wife graduated from Concordia. My wife graduated from Concordia. She played in the band at Concordia College. Shout out to the French horn. And before she gets mad at me, it's the horn. The French horn is not the technical. I've been corrected.
Before. There is just one.
In an orchestra or in a band, it is a horn. The instrument could be a French.
Classic France just being like, it's ours.
I hate it.
This horn right here is ours.
So the college is old. I don't know how old, but their band is 125 years old. So they decided to have an anniversary get together where they had anyone who was alumni of the band could come back and play in this alumni band.
Hell yeah.
They had nearly 300 people on stage playing in the largest band that I've ever seen in my life. They had to move it into the field house, which is just like a football field. And they took up the entire width of that with just people in every section.
Was it just a band performance? Was it accompanied with a football game? Or?
No. It's funny you say that. I thought this was just like a music homecoming. I learned on the drive back there actually was a football game that took place. I just had no idea. Concordia is not a sports school.
Sure.
They do have a sports program.
Yeah, they're part of the MIAC.
Okay, yeah. I learned something new today. There we go. There was a football game.
Okay.
I don't know how it went, but what I am excited to share with you is the things that I got to do in Moorhead, and specifically one place. Now,
did you happen to unwind?
I didn't stop by Unwind, although I did. I as we were driving back, I was thinking, oh man, we really should stop there. But it was like 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't know if these are Unwind hours.
Right,
so.
not a best, no.
Kept driving past, but yeah, if you're in Moorhead, check out Unwind. They're a pretty cool place. And but the place that I got to check out was, I think, the coolest park I've ever seen in my life. Now, there's a lot of really interesting stuff in Moorhead. I don't know if you know this. It's the home of the Dilly Bar. There's a Dairy Queen in town that was the first place that ever dipped the Dilly Bar. Huh. They have a giant Dilly Bar outside. They have keychains you can buy that have a Dilly Bar on it.
Wow. Did you have one?
I didn't get a keychain, but I did buy a shirt.
Yeah.
I'll wear it. Oh, did I have a Dilly Bar?
Did you have
Did I eat one?
Imbibe?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not get a Dilly Bar.
Are you a non-dairy guy?
No, I sometimes do dairy.
Okay.
I was thinking, like, do I get a Dilly Bar at the home of the Dilly Bar?
Right.
And then I didn't. I got a Blizzard instead. But I did buy a shirt.
He went. He was at Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah. I have a shirt I'll wear on the show next week that says America's Dairy Queen, and then on the back has like an artsy picture of the Dairy Queen location.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. I have a picture of myself. Maybe I'll send it to you. We'll put it in of me posing in front of the Dilly Bar. Super proud. But that's not what I want to talk about.
I'm sorry.
If you go slightly over the border to Fargo, where I maybe brought my Puffco and maybe went and broke the law just for old time's sake, but I of course didn't. But they do have right across the border the Statue of Liberty. Did you guys know that? In Fargo, they have a Statue of Liberty. I got to see it. It's like 6 feet tall. But the thing that I most want to talk about, Daly Park. Have you guys ever heard of this?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. So I think I was talking about it last week when I came. I was so proud that I finally got a chance to go to Daly Park. Okay. Have you ever heard of Daly Park before?
No. How is it spelled?
DAILY space PARQUE. Yeah, there we go.
I'm with it.
Daly Park. Now, Daly Park is unique in that it is Minnesota's smallest municipal park. The smallest park you've ever seen. Now, how small is it? I've got the stats. I'm pulling it up. Daly Park is a triangular park that is 0.013 acres.
Okay.
To put that into perspective, it's roughly 500 square feet.
Okay.
Have you ever seen like a roundabout
Yeah.
that has like a little grassy area in the middle.
Yeah.
It's smaller than that. This is like 3 streets that sort of come together and form like an awkward triangle shape.
Yeah.
That then they put a bunch of like grass in the middle.
It kind of reminds me of the park in Uptown near the synagogue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it is like an eighth of the size of, like, I don't even, it is
smaller than that.
Fraction of the size. It is super cool. Now, it's triangular shape, as I mentioned, so I've heard that students will sometimes get pizza and go eat it in Daly Park. It's just like a common activity people do.
Triangles on triangles.
Could you do a dab in Daly Park? Well, not legally. Unfortunately, Moorhead bans smoking in all public parks.
Oh, that's right.
But probably could. I don't know. Daly Park, I think, is really one of those places that every single person, if you're driving through Moorhead, if you're driving through Fargo, if you're even in that part of the state, it is worth stopping to see. Now, you're going to drive up to it and you're going to say, oh, where do I park? Because there's not a parking lot. You just sort of put your car on the street next to someone's home.
Wow.
And then you're there.
How many cars big is Daly Park?
Maybe 2. Maybe. I think, I think you could probably park like 2 full cars in the grassy area.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's not a very big park.
No, it's not a very big park. But it is one of those places that, man, I wish I knew more about how it came together.
Right.
From what I've heard, it just sort of came together like, well, we've got this grassy area. I guess it could sort of be a park. But I want to go back to the exact moment. I want to be a fly on the wall in City Hall when someone said to the city manager, we need to start a new park. And he's like, oh, where? And they go, that intersection. And enough people said yes.
Right.
That there is now a sign when you go there that says Daly Park, Moorhead's smallest park. And it's actually not just Moorhead's smallest park, but it's the smallest park in all of Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think it's a bit?
So that's the thing about Moorhead. Everything feels like a bit there. The fact that they have the Statue of Liberty just like because it was at like it's like a patriotic, like, well, we got to be patriotic. So what's patriotic? The Statue of Liberty. We got to open a park. There's a museum there for a boat that someone built and sailed to Norway. Just like they were bored and just did that. And now there's a museum for it. Moorhead feels like a bit. Their mascot is a corn on the cob. They all walk around wearing shirts that say "Fear the Ear." And this is a real place in Minnesota and perhaps home to the first off tribal land native-owned dispensary.
Yeah.
I got a chance to go to JL Beers, which is the future home of a White Earth dispensary. So you're going to be able to buy flower, go hang out in the smallest park, go get a dilly bar, go see the Statue of Liberty, look at some trains. I don't know.
White Earth opening up a dispensary in Moorhead is like a knight sliding across the chessboard and just sniping somebody
Oh, yeah.
6 rows down.
It's a move directly into the king. And oh boy, am I stoked to hopefully go to homecoming next year.
Yeah.
And
126 years strong.
yeah, 126 years strong. They're actually, unfortunately, they're not doing a band reunion next year. I learned they did it for the 100th. And then they did it again for the 101st because they like had someone new and they're like, well, we got to do another celebration. And then they committed no more, only every 25 years. So 25 years from now, I'll be back in Moorhead.
And if you want to go, there probably will be a football game next.
Maybe,
next year.
allegedly.
If football's still around.
If football's still around. Steve,
Yeah.
what is your high note this week? This is your last high note before you're a dad. So we're going to play this for your kid in the future. So
Yeah.
no pressure, but
All right.
what's up?
I am taking a little break, but I'll be back.
Yeah.
I was at a wedding last weekend, and I was speaking with someone, and they were telling me, and let me keep in mind, this person is a grower. Like, they make their living growing cannabis.
Okay.
And they put, they help install grow facilities. Like, they've got their chops. But they were telling me that they don't use a grinder. They instead use a scissors. And their rationale...
To chop their weed, like to put it in their joint? Or?
Yes. Like
Okay.
a small, almost like a baby finger. Speaking of babies, like a baby's toenail clippers or something like that. And they'll ever so daintily like just cut the leaves off the bud. And their rationale was they spend all this time growing these beautiful flowers and they're praised for their flowers, that to just grind it up and turn it into dust, it goes against their grain. It just rubs them the wrong way. And I just thought, have you ever heard of someone using a scissors to cut the buds off the stems? I had never.
Yeah. I have seen people do it when they didn't have a grinder. I've never seen someone intentionally do that before.
Yeah, this was new to me. But since then, I've thrown away the grinder I got at Canacon on the trade floor because it was a shitty grinder and it was just a promotional piece, and I was like, I don't need this. And my other grinder from Stores and Pickle is somewhere that I haven't been able to find for a while. So I'm like out a grinder, and I'm taking the little buds and the leaves off the nugs.
Wow.
And I'm pulling them off, and I'm just packing them into the Stores and Pickle Mighty or Crafty. Actually, I'm using a Crafty, but soon I'll be using a Mighty. And
Mighty.
And I am embodying their philosophy, maybe for a limited time, but they were telling me that they do this with joints. And I can't imagine like breaking down a full gram, little leaf by little leaf, and putting it onto your rolling paper.
All right, so now we got to play the game of guessing who was at this wedding.
Now,
who does this?
This was
because I know what wedding this was.
This was a very cannabis-friendly wedding.
Yeah.
There wasn't a dab bar, but there was a joint rolling station at the wedding.
And just so we can plug in, this wedding might have happened because of a Canna Connect event. Is that real?
I was mentioned in the ceremony.
Incredible.
And it was, at the time, it was Canna MN. It was pre-Canna Connect, but it was about 3 years ago. And the funniest story, I think Kurt would be okay telling. So it was Kurt and Rochelle. Shout out to Kurt and Rochelle.
Former guest on the show.
Former guest on the show. And my coworker, Kurt Kinnaman. I didn't know this. He almost didn't show up. He almost didn't make it to the event because parking at Stadium Bar and Grill is so bad in downtown Minneapolis on Washington Avenue that he nearly drove from River Falls and turned around because he couldn't find a parking spot. But he had this specific strain with him that he wanted to show. It was like alien cookies or
for sure,
like a Max alien strain, and Rochelle and Kurt bonded over that strain, and him bringing that flower to the event like created this very strong connection, and they've been dating ever since.
That's so cool.
Now they're married. Beautiful ceremony, like touching, intimate. But I don't. You know this person, but I don't know if you'll be able to guess.
Okay, no matter who I guess, I'm gonna be surprised, and we don't have to say their name right here.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I have never heard of that before. That's a new one to me. Jordan, have you ever done that before?
Only in a pinch.
Only in a pinch,
Right? Yeah. Usually,
and honestly, I would probably just pinch it.
Yeah, just break
before
it apart.
Like, for my thinking is like surface area of flower, like ready to be combusted, and I'm like, if I'm sitting there with a scissors, cutting bit by bit off, I'm already like out there for 15 minutes just getting the joint ready to go.
That's fair.
And then I'm going to take my 20 minutes to just sit and enjoy it, light it up a couple times while I'm doing other things. And is the juice worth the squeeze?
and for them it is, and I respect the care
Totally.
that they take.
And like I talk about my mom so much on this show. Shout out, Mom.
She watches.
She does. It's true. And she tells me when I tell really funny stories that maybe aren't great for the podcast. But one thing that she has always talked about is mindful activities.
Mm-hmm.
Mindfully eat. Don't just like inhale your food, but really savor every bite.
Very mindful.
Mindfully walk. Don't just like go from one place to another, but really take in what you're seeing, smelling, hearing as you're going. And I could see, if you're the grower of this product, mindfully breaking it apart piece by piece, really enjoying the value of the work that you did, I could see getting that satisfaction from it.
See,
I totally get it.
I do that on the inhale.
All right, there we go.
That's
Yeah,
where
that's
my
fair.
enjoyment is.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Jordan, how's your plant doing?
My plant is out in the tent. Kale's got it out behind us right now. He's just finishing it up because that frost is starting to set in. So I'm like, let's get you inside. The nug density looks good. Trichomes are ambering up nicely, and Kale said within the week he'll probably chop it, and then I just offered it up as like a if you guys want to do like the home growing meetup night on Tuesdays, just like if you guys want to show people how to trim.
Cool.
Go ahead. Use it.
Cool.
Well, we want to give you your kudos. We were talking about it off air, but we'll bring it to the podcast. You do bonsai work or have done bonsai work, and that is so clearly evident in the way that your plant was grown. You can see how it was tied down meticulously to allow not too far away from the plant, but just enough for it to get light. It looks like a plant that someone who has been growing cannabis for years
Really?
tied down. So shout out to your homegrown, man.
That is very affirming to hear.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I don't know, and I am just kind of having fun while I'm doing it. Really, it's always been more about the process, like mindful gardening. Honestly, getting to your mom's point, like I care less about the end result than I do just the process of coming home from work, looking at the plant, studying it, seeing what is different between this morning when I looked at it and this afternoon when I look at it. And for me, it's more just like, a
The
hobby
destination
of
is the journey.
Yeah. It's the nugs we find along the way.
Well, Jordan, I appreciate that. What have you been smoking on this week? What's your high note to sort of round out our weekly fun?
Okay, so this is not a new consideration. Actually, probably far from it. I am not the first person to have this thought, but I think it gets to the really getting to know somebody by how they answer the question. But my wife and I were having a debate the other night about the best cut of French fry.
Okay.
I have a few options that I could lean either way any day.
Let's throw some names in the ring.
I'm a big advocate for hand cut and crinkle cut. I
Okay.
think crinkle cut
For sure.
doesn't get the love it should get.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm going to throw curly into the ring.
See, that is just such a left field for me because I'm like, what does this get me? What is the benefit of the curly? Like, I understand some Arby's seasoning, like whatever they want to chuck on there, but like the function of a curly fry is to be cute.
I like the density of the bite. I'm getting a little more mass per fry.
The curly fry has better bag appeal, I think.
Sure.
You look in and you're like, wow, that's nice.
Bigger nugs.
Bigger nugs. Wow. I think French fry type is such like an important classification. Because I agree with you. There are people that I think like inferior fries.
I agree.
Is there a best fry that you can pick up at the grocery store? Is there a best frozen fry? Because I feel like I always struggle to find the right fry.
I have a lot of opinions. Jordan, what's your go-to frozen fry?
It's gotta be the just classic Ore-Ida crinkle cut. And maybe it's a nostalgia factor. That's what my mom would throw in the pan and just whip into the oven with like a grilled cheese for me and the siblings on a Tuesday night. I think I like the ridges for scoopability. You still get a nice fry shape, but you get that liftability for any of your preferred sauces.
All right. So here's where we get to have the fight. My thought is if you are making it at home, I'm presuming in an oven.
Yeah.
Oven, air fryer.
Crinkle and straight cut, both the wrong type of fry to use. I think both of those fries are best served in like as they're intended, like as a deep fried potato delight. When I think it's in an oven, I think it ruins the flavor. It ruins the texture. It doesn't give me what I'm looking for. Whereas a waffle fry or a tater tot out of the oven, I think is much closer to my preferred potato
Delivery system.
I was initially thinking crinkle cut and waffle were the same, but now I'm realizing what a crinkle cut fry is based
the ridges.
The
wave.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I mean, if I had to choose between waffle and tater, I'm going tater tot in the oven.
Okay, for sure.
Because you can shake the pan a little bit and get them onto the other side. I do love a good like skin on, fatter edge of the waffle fry.
Okay, for sure. I get what you're picturing.
Not everyone.
The wedges almost of sorts.
I was an early Buffalo Wild Wings. Actually worked for Buffalo Wild Wings back in the day, but in high school I remember getting the potato wedges.
Okay, yeah.
And you can get them with cheese or without cheese. But anyway, like love a good wedge or a ring. I've lately I've been thinking about, man, I want to make potatoes at home where I'm just slicing the potato into like small inches and like letting it dry out a little bit, because potatoes hold a lot of water density. So then, to get that restaurant flavor, you got to let them dry out a little bit.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to correct you on that.
Help me out.
What you want to do is you cut your potatoes however shape you want.
Okay.
You throw them in salted cold water.
Yes.
And you just throw them in the fridge to separate the starches.
Okay.
It'll pull the starch out of the potato.
Yes.
And then you let them sit overnight or a couple hours, whatever.
Okay.
Then you'll dump out the water, give them another rinse, and then lay them out, dry them out a little bit. You
I
don't want
love
them to
that.
dry
I'm
out,
gonna-
but that's how you get the crisp. That's how you get structure. It's taking that starches out of there, because the starches are what hold on to water.
I'm going to call you tomorrow morning when I'm making these potatoes.
Dude, I will FaceTime you through it, baby.
Throw some Dr. Dab seasoning on there.
Okay.
Hey, shout out to Dr. Dabs. We miss you. We hope you feel better, and we'll come back with another episode next year.
Yeah. I sure hope he didn't eat some bad gummies.
Ooh, yeah.
So I just a follow-up question on that. Well, so I liked hearing your thoughts on the type of potato that you like and what we like making at home. But if I were to, like, I don't know, hypothetically, like, kidnap you, throw you in the back of a white van and say, bring me to the best French fry in town,
Yep.
where do you tell me to go?
Okay, so now I'm going to bring up a French fry that I didn't even list before, but it is, I think, one of my favorite fries, and that's Blue Door Pub. It's a hand-cut fry.
Whoa.
Well salted, perfectly seasoned, perfectly crispy. I think Blue Door Pub has like the best. They can get like greasy, but also it's like you're eating French fries. Deal with it.
Yeah, wow. That was like my go-to place
Blue
in
Door Pub.
college.
Blue Door Pub.
What Blue Door do you go to?
The one closest to me now is Longfellow.
That one's
Yeah.
with the Blue Door.
Yep.
Uh,
Fun fact, side note, I was at my we were doing my bachelor party. We had just done some breweries, and we were like, all right, we got to get burgers. So we go to Blue Door Pub. It's busy, but we're waiting outside. And my buddy who goes to, put it into like hey, we got 8, 10, whatever of us. He comes back out just like no expression on his face. And he goes, Bernie Sanders is in there. And I'm like, okay. And then without missing a beat, another one of my buddies goes, is he splitting the bill with everybody?
Socialism, you get it?
Yeah. Did you know Bernie Sanders is speaking in town tonight, in Minneapolis?
No way.
Yeah.
I've seen Bernie Sanders in town before. That's a good show.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was leaving as we were like getting called to our table, and the only interaction I've ever had with Bernie Sanders is magical. He's walking out. His bodyguards are like kind of like making sure we're not too close, and I go, Bernie, it's my bachelor party. And he kind of turns toward me, but doesn't really look at me. He goes, happy birthday.
So good.
That is a great.
And this is on video. There is a cell phone video of
Wow.
me just like drunkenly being like, Bernie, it's my bachelor party. And
If
then him going,
Wow.
happy birthday. So,
That's so good.
I did not see that coming at all.
happy birthday.
That's so good.
If only he was our. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so Steve, French fries. Where do you go in town when you're looking for a good French fry?
Man, I would say my go-to. I want Culver's, but I can never commit.
Okay.
And so what I end up
Too long of a wait.
oftentimes we were coming back on Sunday from southern Minnesota, and I was like, all right, we're gonna get Culver's, we're gonna get fries, we're gonna get the burger, whatever. I was like, I see the line, it's like 6 cars long. I'm like, do I really want fast food that bad? So then I turn around and we're in Lakeville or Owatonna, and I stand in line for 15 minutes at Chipotle, because if you've been to a Chipotle since the pandemic, you realize the lines are just out of control.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no sense of calmness inside the kitchen. It is just a madhouse trying to get all those ingredients out, and the online orders are coming in, it's hectic.
Yeah.
McDonald's, I'd say.
Okay,
I just
that's fair.
I just go with McDonald's. McDonald's is even though I don't agree with a lot of the things around McDonald's, it's the fastest way to get in and out, and it's probably the fries I eat the most.
Yep.
I think that's super fair.
Those fries get you through some rough spots in your life, I'd say.
Yeah. It is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is. It's like the Northern Lights podcast.
But got to check out the Five Guys fries too. Those,
I mean,
I put those
Oh,
in the
the
hand
Cajun
cut.
fries
The
at Five
Cajun,
Guys?
those are hand cut. I
So
wouldn't say they're up
good.
to Blue Door level,
Yeah.
but they're like in terms of fast food. Oh, well, is Five Guys isn't really all
oh,
that
it's
fast.
fast food, yeah.
But they don't have a drive-through. Can you consider it fast food if there's no drive-through?
Well, nowadays with cities getting rid of drive-throughs, I think you have to be able to,
Yeah.
omit that. But when I was in college, Blue Door Pub opened up right down the street from where I lived, and it was the first Blue Door right near St. Thomas.
Selby.
Selby
Rest in
Avenue,
peace.
no longer there. And you used to be able to order, like they almost had like a secret menu, and
Okay.
you could get the tots, but you could get them with like the flavor of the wings, and you could
Okay.
take the wet sauce from the wings and put them on the tots, and we're talking like a pound. They would load it up. And this was 2010, 2011. So like back in my day, tots were a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah.
They were $8 or
Yeah,
whatever.
that whole bag of probably cost you what, like
$6?
35 cents?
Oh yeah. Not from them, but
Yeah.
This is a bad time to mention I haven't eaten anything today yet.
All right. Well, so I'll round out with a recommendation.
Yes,
Because
please.
here's where
So
I would
many.
go for a French fry. And unfortunately, it closed 3 hours ago. But still something you can go and do tomorrow. Do you like breakfast potatoes?
Of course. Oh my God.
So I think breakfast potatoes are one of those like sleeper types of potatoes. It's a preferred consumption method of mine, if you will. And I think Fat Nat's Eggs. It's a small. It's like a breakfast restaurant.
Okay.
They've got a location in New Hope. They've got one in St. Anthony, and I could not recommend their potatoes enough. They're slightly spicy. They've got nice amounts of oil, and they are fried to perfection.
what are the chances that your favorite breakfast potato restaurant has a location in New Hope and a location in St. Anthony?
Isn't it so weird? So it's funny you say that because the reason is
I own the restaurant.
I used to live in New Hope, and I might currently live in St. Anthony. And when we were looking for apartments, and I saw that this place was only less than a mile from Fat Nat's Eggs, it was game over.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I'm sorry, this is a non-negotiable for me, and we've been living there ever since.
I'm with the shits.
I'm with the shits. I need the breakfast. In fact, we were gonna go this morning to go get it, but fortunately, I had work meeting come up, so I wasn't able to. But you know that by the time this episode comes out, I will have eaten these potatoes at Fat Nat's Eggs because I'm probably gonna wake up tomorrow and go get those potatoes at Fat Nat's Eggs. Yeah.
Reach out to us, Fat Nats.
Yeah, we'd love have you.
We record every Friday
All right,
afternoon.
here's the last thing I'll say about this place. I used to go there a lot in high school, like maybe a little bit too much because, I was taking acid and hanging out and doing all that stuff. And when I went off to college, they gave me a mug to take with me as like a little don't forget about us. And I still have it in my kitchen. So who knows? It might appear on our shelf one of these days. And so if you spot the mug, put it in the comments. I don't know.
I can just
whatever.
picture him going to Fat Nat's, doing some homework, going to the movies, watching Frozen.
For the seventh time.
Yeah. All of that is correct except the homework part.
And thanks for watching the Northern Lights
that
podcast.
feels like a good spot to leave it. So we're going to be back in your feeds next week, but Steve, you're going to be on a short break.
Yes.
We're going to miss having you here. The whole community will miss seeing your face. You're still going to be around. It's not like you're disappearing.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, put your positive thoughts to Steve in the comments. Drop those in. You've been a really stable voice on this show for a long time. So it'll be sort of sad to lose you for a couple days, but we'll keep it running. And
We've got some great guests lined up. We've
Yeah.
got Jason Tarasek on the podcast coming up.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Sage from Sage the Gangier, and
Yeah.
we're gonna keep it rolling.
well, we're gonna do our best to make sure it's not like that meme where you come in with the pizzas and you're like, "I'm back, guys," and everything's on fire. So it's gonna be great.
Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to the Dabbler Depot,
Yeah.
Union Bank and Trust, Natural Harvest, North Star Law Group.
Yeah.
Tanner, thank you.
Yeah, no, I truly, thanks to everyone that helps to make this show possible. Shout out to Jordan. I love that we get to see your face. Second episode with the Jordan cam. Keeping that running. Womp, 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 womp. So truly, just like thanks everyone for helping to make this possible. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be back in your feeds in just about a week. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Follow us on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
all of those. And we'll be back very soon, y'all. Thanks for watching.